Hey everyone, today's screencast is about how to use Screencast-O-Matic to make screencasts. So that's actually kind of funny. Today's screencast is about making screencasts. So how about that? So the website that I'm at right now is called screencast-o-matic.com, just www.screencast-o-matic.com, spelled like that. This is a great website. This is a tool that allows you to record what's happening on your computer, okay, whether that's including your mouse clicks and everything, as well as yourself speaking, automatically without having to download any software to your computer. So you don't need to download any screencasting software to your computer. You can just go to www.screencast-o-matic.com and use their online tool in order to capture what's going on your screen. And I think that's kind of cool. So I'm going to demonstrate how this works. It's actually really easy to use. So in fact, it's so easy to use, I'm just going to go ahead and do it. See this great big blue box here that says start recording. Why don't we click on this and find out what happens? Okay, so here we go. Our screen recording, we get a little message here saying that it's starting up. And however long this takes, this will vary according to your computer and your settings and your internet speed. And in this case, it was pretty quick. Now, once in a while, you will run into glitches. It might ask you something like, oh, you need to install some or approve some Java applet or whatever. If that's the case, that's fine. Just follow the instructions and click on yes, and that's fine. If you really can't get it to work, then I would recommend, before you give up on this, try a different web browser. Okay, I'm currently using Google Chrome, but you could certainly try Firefox, Opera, Safari, Internet Explorer, whatever browser that you like to use. Try using it in a different browser. That's all. Okay, so what was happening here? What we have here is this little overlay. Okay, and this allows you to make a few decisions. The first thing that I want to point out to you here is that if you want to actually capture the sound of what you are recording, like your voice, okay, which in most cases you do want your voice to be captured, you're going to need obviously some sort of a microphone to record your voice. Now, a lot of computers have a built-in mic, particularly laptops. If you've got a MacBook or MacBook Pro or a lot of PC laptops will have a microphone built in which case you're fine. If you have an external microphone plugged in, that's fine too, like an external USB mic or another type of mic, that's fine. So I'm going to assume that you've got that under control, okay? That's, if you need extra help, that's probably the topic of a completely different screencast. But let's assume that you have a microphone and you want to record audio. The first thing you want to check is that right here, see how when I'm talking, the green part is moving. You want to see that. That confirms to you that your computer is actually capturing the audio from your voice. If you're talking and you're not seeing that green part move, then you need to make some adjustments, okay? You need to check. So let's actually click this little triangle here to see what's going on. If we click that, what happens is that Screencast-O-Matic automatically goes through your system and detects whatever microphone or sound input sources that you have. In this case, I've got a number of different things. Now, you probably won't have all these options. You might just have built-in input or built-in microphone. Okay, you might not have these right here. But you need to select what is appropriate. If you are just working on a laptop, for example, with a built-in input, like a built-in microphone, then you would select this built-in input out here. If you've, or built-in microphone, my apologies, built-in microphone. If you have an external microphone plugged in, for example, I actually have a Plantronics microphone that I'm using, it's a USB mic, then you would make sure that that's selected. The important thing is select something and then just check to make sure that the microphone capture is on. Okay? If you want to adjust your levels, and I really recommend you do this, you can click on this little green part right here, and let's just move this over to the side to see what's going on. Here we can see, here's the microphone volume. You can adjust your volume settings here. Let's actually leave this here for the time being, okay? Before we go and adjust that, let's actually do a test playback to see how this works. So I'm going to click the record button down here, and I'm going to just say, I'm just going to do a little test recording, and then I'll play it back to see whether I'm satisfied with the volume. Okay, so here we go. Test, 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 1, 2, 3. Test, 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 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that actually sounds great to me. That's exactly the right level. If you're not happy with the level, just play around with the slider until it's at the level that you want. Okay? All right, I'll click the OK. I'm happy with the audio levels. Okay, that's really important. Do that up front because you can't change it later. And the last thing you want to do is record the most awesome screencast in the world and then realize that your audio levels suck. You really don't want that. Or worse yet, you didn't capture any audio at all. Okay. Next, next selection or next few choices we need to make, and normally you're not going to spend this much time doing it, you're just going to fly through this, but I'm taking my time here to explain all the options. You can actually select what part of the screen you want to capture, okay? I almost always use full screen. I want to capture everything that's going on my screen. Full screen is right here. If you want to select a smaller area, you can do that, but I just like the full screen option. That's just least amount of thinking. Okay, that just make sure that you realize everything on your screen is going to get captured. Last but not least, this right here, Option P. You need to write that down on a Post-it note or a sticky note and stick it next to your computer, because I guarantee you that when it comes time to you stopping your screencast, you're not going to remember Option P. It's kind of a weird shortcut, you know. And I know that first few times I was using Screencast-O-Matic, I kept forgetting the shortcut to stop my screencast, and as a result, I would end up with these silly screencasts that were, 5 minutes of awesomeness and then 1 minute of me going, how do I stop the screencast? So do yourself a favor. Option P is the shortcut that you're going to use to quit your screencast, and you're going to write that down somewhere, because I guarantee you at the end of your screencast you will have forgotten about everything and you just need to look at that post-it and you go, oh yeah, Option P, and that's how you're going to quit. All right, so now that we've done that, let's go ahead and start recording. So to start recording, we just click on this red button right here, and that's the record button. As soon as I click this, I'm going to get a countdown. And as soon as the countdown's over, then it starts capturing everything. So let's give it a shot, shall we? Okay, here we go. And we're counting down. And here we go. I am recording my screencast using Screencast-O-Matic. So I can go around, I'm going to Google. Let's do a search in Google. Let's search for Google in Google. That would be kind of funny. There we go. And it brings up Google. Okay, so I'm in the middle of doing my screencast right now. Here's an interesting question. How long can our screencast be? Well, actually, Screencast-O-Matic, the free version, limits you to 15 minutes of recording. For most purposes, I think that's absolutely fine. You usually tend to lose people's attention quite a bit past 15 minutes, so, limit yourself to 50 minutes and you'll be totally fine. Okay, so let's say that I've done my screencast. I'm all done. I've done demonstrating, bloop, 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 doing this. Oh, by the way, here, you can probably see that Screencast-O-Matic also captures actual mouse clicks, okay, which is very, very handy. Okay, so we're done. How do we stop this recording? Do you guys remember the shortcut? It is, right, it's Option P. So let's go ahead and do Option P. And so now what's actually happened is Screencast-O-Matic hasn't actually stopped, it's paused. Okay, so really Option P stands for pause. And that's handy if you need to take a break in the middle of your screencast or whatever. In this case, we're done. Okay, so in order to indicate that we're done, we're going to click on the Done button right here. Go Done. And now we have a few more choices to make. Here, first of all, here's a preview of our screencast. So we see that it is about 1 minute and 9 seconds long. So that was me. I was yapping for about 1 minute and 99 seconds. Before we go and save this file, let's make sure that this file works. So we can do a little preview here. I'm going to go ahead and do that. And here we go. I am recording my screencast using Screencast-O-Matic. So there we go. So it worked. So that's cool. I don't have to watch the whole thing. I'll watch the first few seconds. That's great. Now, interestingly enough, see how this actually records our cursor with a yellow circle around it? The software I'm using to actually do this screencast right now uses a different indicator. It uses, I think it's a blue circle. That's to distinguish it from the actual Screencast-O-Matic screencast. So you'll notice that. You won't notice the yellow thing when you're actually doing it, but afterwards when you play back your screencast recording, you'll see that yellow circle around. That's just to make your cursor really, really obvious to whoever's watching. And that's really handy. Okay, so we've got a couple choices we need to make here. What do we want to do with this recording? We've got 3 options. We could either publish to Screencast-O-Matic, That means actually publishing it on the Screencast-O-Matic website. Usually that's not what we want to do. Okay, you might want to do this, but in our case, I don't want to do that. We could publish directly to YouTube if we wanted to. That's an option. Or, and this is my favorite, and I think the most versatile option, publish to video file. So this is what I'm going to recommend you do. We're going to go ahead and click publish to video file. So I'll click on there, and we have a few choices to make here. We can choose our video type. I like recording to QuickTime. Okay, you might prefer a different one. I would not recommend Flash. There's just, that will really limit you because you won't be able to share your video on, iPods or iPads or any other iOS devices. But any of these others should be all right. So QuickTime MP4 is my preferred version. Full size or HD? I always pick full size. I figure if I'm going to make it smaller, I'll choose that later. I can do that later, but I like full size. You can add notes and captions and different options if you want. I'm not going to bother with that. I'm just going to select the defaults here, QuickTime, full size, and let's go ahead and click Save Video. And so now we need to choose where we're going to save our video. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and save it on my desktop. I'm just going to call it Kathleen's First Video. It's not my first video, but hey, let's pretend it is. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click Save. And so what's happening? Okay, it's actually saving to video, and this is, you have to let this go. Okay, we could cancel if we didn't want to do it, but that's fine. And you can see a little progress bar here, or a little progress percentage. So we have to wait. Now, if you've done a really long screencast, this is going to take a little bit longer. That's fine. Just be patient. Go, make a sandwich or have a coffee or something. So we're almost done, and it's just converting that. It's saving it to your computer, wherever you said you wanted it to be saved. And we're almost done. Okay, look, now it's saved to video. I'm just going to hide this window right now, and I'm going to hide the other windows, and let's look on my desktop. Hey, look at this file right here. Kathleen's First Video is right here. Let's test it out. Let's see if it actually worked. So I'm just going to go ahead and start it up. And here's I'm using QuickTime Player. You can use the video player of your choice. Let's go ahead and play this and see if it worked. And here we go. I am recording my screencast using Screencast-O-Matic. So look at that. It worked. Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to quit that, and that's it. You've recorded your first screencast using Screencast-O-Matic. How cool is that? And so there's your file right there. You can share it with anyone you like. Okay, and I hope that was helpful. You can publish that to YouTube if you want to. You can do whatever you need to. But yeah, I hope that was helpful. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.